I think Jim Otto started all this. I think Jim Otto made a deal with the devil, and the devil was like, hey, you're going to get to play in all 210 of your games. And I think it's the curse of Jim Otto. I think anybody that wears 0 needs to be careful because Jim Otto has cursed the number by crewing over 74 operations.
Say full auto Jim Otto all day. This is not my beautiful house.
This is not my beautiful wife. How did I get here? He doesn't know the talking heads.
Easy. Tavon Austin's highlight.
Yeah.
Oh, great call.
Yeah.
Easy.
You might not make any more friends that day. Welcome to the Green Light Podcast presented by BetMGM. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT and you'll get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code GREENLIGHT. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. If that bet loses, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just make sure you use bonus code GREENLIGHT when you sign up. The prodigal son has returned, fellas. There he is, Kyle Long, in his home studio in, can I dox where you live, Kyle?
Yeah, sure.
Boca Raton, Florida.
Good spot.
Yeah, he leveled up. He left us and he leveled up.
I miss Boca.
There's actually two Bocas, West Boca and East Boca, come to find out. There's a dichotomy to the town, which is interesting.
Which are you?
I'm in eastern Boca Raton. So there's like the 95 runs right through town.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like far from it east towards the water. So we got lucky last year in hurricane season, but people are saying it could be bad this year.
But you're close to Disney, I can see.
Close-ish.
Close.
Orlando, Central Florida. It was probably like a 3.5, 4-hour drive. I don't know. It flew by, 2 kids. Just flies by.
Do people have a problem when you live there where it's like when the kid's like, I want to go to Disney World, you kind of have to go soon because it's close? You can't be like, well, that's a long way away, maybe for your 10th.
It's a pressure. You feel the pressure immediately upon arriving in Florida. I almost feel like Disney, it's like state-sponsored magic. The entire state of Florida, from their transportation to their entertainment stuff, all roads lead to Disney. They found a way to do that, and they make so much money off the parks. It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
I just think about the Dave Chappelle skit, like about going to Disney and this having to buy Disney bucks and just everything. When you go in there, it's just your wallet is just bing, 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 bing.
I can see you getting kicked out of Disney.
Chris, I'll say this about Disney, though. It really is magic. Like, when you go
Really?
there, like, I don't remember going there as a kid. Apparently, we were really young.
Let me see what's at Disney these days.
But, like, you take your kids to Disney, and you suddenly feel like you're a 12-year-old running around. There's a castle. All your favorite characters are there. Everything looks like, okay, now we're in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Now we're in Africa, like whatever country, pick a country. They've got restaurants.
Do you know any of the countries
on
in
every continent? We're going to turn this into an African geographical quiz.
I don't know.
Let's go. Want to go country for country?
Yeah, country
One for one?
Yeah.
1 for 1?
Yeah.
I like this.
Mali.
Botswana.
South Africa.
Seychelles. I said that wrong, but you know what I'm saying.
Tanzania.
Nigeria.
Ivory Coast. Oh, I skipped? No? I don't want to play this game, Kyle.
Hey, play it till we run out.
No, I don't want to. There's so many countries in Africa, which is such a large continent, which is why when you said
My
we're
next
in
one
Africa,
was
I was like, where?
53?
My next one was Chad.
Chad.
They're 54.
54. I was cheating. There's like a children's song.
Yeah.
My daughter watches.
Yeah.
Kunda and Friends, and they have a song literally, and they say all the continents in Africa.
Yeah, my daughter has
all the
50 nifty states.
All the continents
All the
in Africa are down there.
All the
It's a
continents in
one-word
Africa.
song.
That's good. All right, so anyways, that was geography. Is anybody here draftable? Tanner?
What are the red flags that keep you out?
Well, Kyle, you'll be fine. The president didn't go because he had a bone spur in his foot. You have a cinder block for an ankle. And you can't fit in it. Remember when we called Stanford Steve and told him you were going to the military?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
We April Fool's him and told him you were going to the military.
It's such a weird.
he was like,
I wish we had that clip to play here for Kyle. Kyle, have you heard the clip?
I might be able to get it up.
You know what? I got a lot of text messages about it.
Well, so you haven't heard the clip.
No.
We're going to show you the clip at some point during this show. We're going to stop the show when Tanner has it. Tanner's a one-man band here today because
I saw Dad's reaction.
Dad was like, I told Dad that you wanted to go to the military, that you were enlisting because you didn't like what was going on over there, just generally. And
I just want to see the world.
And he was like, what?
You can't scare a guy at that age.
Yeah, bro. You called me that day and did it too. He's like, yo, Kyle's going to the Army. And I was just like,
stop it. You believed it a little bit. Everybody I called, I don't know what this says about you, Kyle, but everybody I called for at least a quarter second was like, oh, fuck.
Like,
I was more like, why are you telling me? Like, are you distraught or like, are you telling people to?
You're the only one who can reach
lines in the water.
You're the only one who can reach Kyle. I just wanted to say this: I'm undraftable.
Oh, you checked it out?
Well, I have. My hemorrhoids have been terrible. I can't ride around in a tank all day. You know what I mean?
You know what's scary about social media?
What?
Too? There was a video going viral of like a girl was like, "Oh, I love the Army. Look how they feed us and whatever like that." And then the comments are going crazy, and they're just like, "Yeah, dummy, that's a deployment mill. That means your guys are about to go to war." And this is like a week ago.
So they feed you good. They start giving you shrimp and lobster.
I guess so.
They fatten you up.
And then I was
Saturday
just like,
nights in the NFL.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, no, we don't want to make the comparison, but sure.
yeah.
No, like in terms.
See what I mean? He's like thinks he's already in the Army.
No, I'm saying if you got something big coming, you're going to do your best as upper management to fatten up,
the herd.
Whatever you got, whatever you're in. I don't care if you're going for a fucking canoe ride.
Respectfully.
I'm going to say, eat a good, in high school football, we'd have all the whole team over and we'd feed the fuck out of them. Ton of pasta,
pasta party,
protein.
pasta, pizza.
We used to go to Golden Corral the night before high school games.
The Jaguars, we used to go to Maggiano's.
Really?
Jacksonville.
Ooh.
You remember Dante Hall?
I do.
The punt returner.
Yeah.
He lived above the Maggiano's in St. Louis. That's all I remember. But no. Oh, so we had a good weekend. Kyle Lane came in town.
Oh, how'd you guys make out on the river? Any tumbles?
A lot of tumbles.
Some leaks, a little bit, but we made it.
So here's the deal: when you have somebody like Lane in town, he's my friend. That's the way I think about it. And then suddenly, when we get on the river and the water's moving kind of fast and there's a lot of rocks and you realize that 330 pounds is tough to fit in a boat, you realize you have probably the best tackle on the planet in your care. And the future of this podcast and my reputation depends on me getting him down the river.
Oh, man.
And we had a long day, didn't we?
Bro, I'm going to say this. Thank God, like I recently lost 20 pounds This is the first time me floating, like
you look great.
Losing 20 pounds. And since I got in this car accident, just so it was a lot easier doing that. But there's something about when we go on trips and the perception of time or how long the float is potentially going to be, it's always so off, and I don't know why I still fool myself.
It's because it's me that's planning the trip.
To listen, but it's not only you. It's like you, Tom, and then sometimes Reed, you guys will be like, yeah, this will be max a 3-hour float.
I didn't say that about this float.
No. I heard Tom say it before we left.
You're listening to Tom.
No, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm just listening, and he was like, yeah, at the max, he was like, it'll be 2.5, 3 hours, and then maybe if we stop 3.5, it was a 5-hour float.
It was 6.
It was a 5-hour float, but it was a 6-hour trip, and usually I'd start crashing out at about 3 hours, but thankfully, because of all this physical training I've been doing on my back, my back didn't get sore.
Good for you.
At the 2.5 hour mark when it usually does, and then it starts getting really all right, guys,
good for you, John Bastow. Fucking Lane had a boat with a hole in it. We realized half the way through Lane had a hole in his boat. He was completely unprepared. I felt bad, but we got him out of here. He's healthy. Eagles fans, he's back training for the upcoming season, and he's totally healthy. Anything
Chris,
that happens after this is not my fault.
I can't even imagine the pressure you felt as like a river guide for Elaine, because to all your points, one time, similar in fashion to this, when I first signed with the Chiefs, Pat and Travis were in Scottsdale. They knew I was training out there. They were like, let's play golf. I went to play golf with them. We each got separate carts. I was with like Mike Remmers, who was our right tackle. You guys know Mike Remmers.
Yeah, I love Mike.
So we all hit our drives off of like hole 6 or whatever. We're having a good time. It's my first time really hanging out with Patrick. I want to make a good impression, and I don't know any of these guys. And we're following Pat and Travis down the cart path. Pat and Travis think it's funny to stop short of their ball, and like I hit them pretty good. Like I could have given Pat and Travis both whiplash, and they both on cue were like, "Oh, they got out of the cart," and I was just like. I had seen a ghost, and then thank God Travis couldn't keep it together. He started laughing, but it reminds me of you talking about Elaine. Like, you can't fuck that up.
Yeah, you break, you buy.
Chris literally was
I
saying
can't
throughout
afford
the whole trip. He was like, "I'm sorry, like I have to act like dad right now," but he was.
I always have to act like dad, man. I'm dad.
Speaking of Howie Roseman, that's the first call you're gonna get.
Exactly.
From Howie Roseman.
I'm gonna get a call from Howie Roseman. What the fuck are you doing?
I could just imagine the live chat going, what those dudes would say.
All right, so
I've got the Army video ready.
You got the Army video? Can we hear it?
Yeah.
Kyle called me. He's joining the Army. That's what I'm gonna tell Dad right now.
Okay, it's good.
Yo, buddy. What's going on?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm good. Kyle just called me, and you're not gonna believe this one. He's okay. Everything's fine, but he's joining the fucking Army.
Air Force.
Oh God.
April Fools. I didn't want to let that ride too long.
The old God, the way he said, "Oh God."
Hello.
This is the best one. Kyle, my brother, is joining the Army.
What?
Yeah, dude. He just enlisted.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to
Wow.
Steve.
Oh, you're telling about Kyle?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They said he's too big to do like half the stuff that they're supposed to
Yes.
do. So he's supposed to drive tanks
Oh
because
Jesus.
he can't fit in the normal cars.
No.
No.
Tanks are small.
Steve goes, no.
Oh,
Yo.
Jesus.
Kev,
What up?
dude, you're not going to believe this.
Okay.
Kyle just enlisted into the United States Armed Forces.
What?
Yeah. He ships off to Moratoria tomorrow. It's not even a fight. It's not even a real
You're
place.
kidding me.
No. He did it like 3 weeks ago. Didn't tell anybody.
I'm getting a call from Kyle Long.
Okay, call it. Yeah, pick up.
Kyle?
Stop.
I got drafted.
Hey, man.
I got drafted.
I got drafted. Kyle? Ah!
What did I say?
Kyle hung up.
You hit me with like a Kyle called me. Like you were onto it. And you hit me with like a these nuts joke or something.
Yeah, you told me some location, and I made a D's nuts out of the location.
Yeah, exactly. And so Steve, that was just the highlight tape of that. Steve,
Yeah.
that conversation went on like 6 minutes. You can check that one out on Greenlight. Yeah. Let's talk about last night. Basketball. We got to give people what they want. I know people here listening to this podcast generally don't care about basketball, but that was a game 7. And I forced myself to watch it. And of course, like 5 minutes in the game, Halliburton pops his Achilles. Mm-hmm. Right? So we end up in a situation where we're like, this game's probably going to suck. It felt like the Pacers couldn't get anything going after that. Oklahoma City is incredible defensively. Very young. Presti put it together. It felt like overnight. And with everything that this franchise has been through since the move from Seattle, I was wondering if you guys thought you could find an NFL comp for this Oklahoma City team. That's a way we can talk about the NBA, is compare this team to either a past or present NFL team. So I was wondering what you guys thought.
So just off the fact that OKC is the youngest NBA team, just comparing it to that, I would say Green Bay.
That's a good one.
Green Bay has a lot of young guys. I feel like they probably do have a team where, hey, you get in the playoffs, you win a couple of games in a row, you can make it to the big stage. It's not like a 7-game series like the NBA, but it kind of similar in the sense you got to win. Once you get into the final, you got to win 4 games and win it all.
Right.
And once you make it to the playoffs, it's 4 games, right?
What do you mean? Yeah, the NFL. If you're a wild card team, if you're a wild card round team.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like, in that comparison, they're similar. And then another reason why is Green Bay. They have that whole small market. Every ticket, season ticket holder is an owner. And I feel like OKC, I feel like those fans, they take a lot of pride in kind of being a small market, but they have a great fan base. They have a great team. And I just feel like...
This is if Green Bay went on a run.
Yeah.
If Green Bay went on a run.
If they went on a run. And
I could see that.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I say.
It's the kind of thing where they win.
If they get into the wild card or to the playoffs, I don't feel like they're an automatically easy win for anybody once in the postseason.
Last year, I didn't think Jordan Love played that well, but if you'd have looked at them the second half of the year before, I remember the game they knocked off the Chiefs at home and that sort of thing, and the big win in the playoffs against the Cowboys. I think that was 2 years ago, right? It felt like they were starting something special, and they regressed a little bit last year, but to the point, small market, youth, I like that comparison. Kyle, who do you like?
Yeah, I love what Nate said doing the Green Bay thing, but I think it's almost disrespectful a little bit to Oklahoma City because that's a proper big city. If you've been to Green Bay, Wisconsin, it's like the stadium, a couple places named after a couple folks that have Italian names that were important in the history of football, and then some beautiful houses that have been transitioned into Airbnbs. Oklahoma City is just that. It's a city, and the Chiefs. It is a team that reminds me of the Oklahoma City Thunder's roster because I'm looking at the same list, I think, with the youngest to oldest rosters in the NFL, and at only 180 days on average older are the Chiefs. So 24.9 years old for the Packers, 25.4 for the Chiefs, number 4 on the list last year. And they have a team that plays great defense. That's what's carried the Kansas City Chiefs throughout this dynasty is what we can call it. I mean, I know they got blown out in the Super Bowl, but let's face it, we're in the midst of a Mahomes dynasty, Kansas City Chiefs dynasty. Young superstar. This guy, SGA, I don't watch a lot of basketball, but his name comes up so much that I find myself watching highlights. I feel like that's almost the Mahomes effect. Oklahoma City and Kansas City, both kind of mid-big markets.
Both cities.
Not urban metropolis type deal, but both have superstars on the offensive side of the ball. Both have good defense. That's my comp.
Yeah,
people bitch about Mahomes for what? His ability to draw fouls, and that's what they say about SGA as well.
That's interesting.
He is a foul merchant.
Yeah, and also to the point, the season he just put together, clean sweep, MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP. NBA Finals MVP, and NBA champion. That's an incredible season. It's one of the best all-time guard seasons.
His dad is hilarious too.
Oh, his dad's funny.
Was on Jeff Teague's podcast,
which is a great podcast.
It's amazing, and he was just going off. He was like, he's like, you need to produce an MVP. He's like, let me just breed your girl. This was
that's just crazy. People got to get their dads, bro. People got to get their dads. Halliburton's got to get his dad, respectfully. SGA's got to get his dad.
Some of these old cats, man, they're just so
They've been waiting,
funny.
dude.
Bro, just waiting.
If my kid ever fucking hits it big, I'm going to go on a podcast and talk about breeding. So I'll just say this. I look back, and I don't think it's a current team. You think about like a historically good defense, a young team, because OKC, by all accounts, historically good defense. I think about the 2014 Seahawks. I think that was the year that they won the Super Bowl. They beat the Broncos, beat the brakes off the Broncos. The difference is Russell Wilson has never got an MVP vote. SGA MVP this season, beating out guys the likes of Jokic and that sort of thing. So, from a star power standpoint, like an individual star power standpoint, maybe Russ isn't SGA, but that team was great defensively. They were young. They had a young core. And I think the other thing that kind of ties it together is, if you think about OKC, the first installment of the Thunder was that big three, and it broke up, and everybody's like, what might have been? And I'm not comparing this team directly to that OKC team, but the Seahawks, the prior installment of the Seahawks was 13-3. I think it was 2004 or 2005, something like that. They lost to the Steelers in the Super Bowl in Detroit. They were 13-3. They had Hasselbeck, Walter Jones. They had MVP Sean Alexander. They couldn't get it done. So you turn that program over, and then you end up with that young nucleus and end up winning a Super Bowl. If I had to compare a team to that OKC Big Three team that broke up, it'd probably be the 98 Vikings. I was looking back at that. They had Randall Cunningham, they had Chris Carter, and they had Randy Moss. And you were like, dude, how many championships could an offense like this win, right? And they broke up. Moss left. And they ended up losing that year to the Atlanta Falcons in the NFC Championship. So I see a Seattle kind of programmatic parallel here. The only thing that's really ironic about it is Seattle, Oklahoma City, that was a Seattle team. That was the Seattle Supersonics. So in a twist of irony, I am comparing them to the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a fun team. Definitely two small market teams. You could feel that watching the finals. I mean, like,
here's a NFL question that kind of correlates with this. Do you think we'll ever have, say, international, or maybe I'm overlooking, but like, do you think we'll ever have like a quarterback in the NFL that's
international? I think that's what they want.
International, that'll be competing for like an MVP, not just like a starter, but like
if Ichiro Suzuki, the quarterback, shows up and blows the doors off the NFL.
Within 25 years, I don't know that we'll have an Ohtani where it's like the best player we've ever seen, arguably.
Could you just imagine a 6'5", do it all, offense, defense, just unbelievable. So many people's heads would explode because, the American gatekeeping, I do it myself. I'm like, we're the best at it.
Well, think about what's happened in the NBA. Look at this series. You have the stars on both teams are Canadian guys.
Yep.
And then we actually had an American white play a big role in Chet Holmgren.
And what's his name? My guy from the Knicks.
Who are you talking about? Hartenstein?
Yeah, and him.
You think you're giving us some love?
Yeah, he'll be white.
But what I'm saying is the game is global. It's like, you also have Siakam played a big role on the Pacers. Like, there were more international born players that played big roles on these teams than not. So I think the NBA is like going global. We know that. The NFL, like, we want to do that eventually. They're talking about adding
we're going global.
Teams in the UK and that sort of thing.
We're going to Australia this year.
We'll see. We'll see.
He said that.
We'll see. The other thing I want to talk about is the Achilles thing, because and good on OKC for not cheering the Achilles rupture as the good folks in Toronto did to Kevin Durant years ago, the nicest people on the planet, Canadians. But I think it's so interesting on a couple levels. Like, number one, we've got 3 guys wearing 0 that got hurt this postseason, right? So we talk about the curse of 0. I'll get to that in a minute. But also, there is definitely an uptick in Achilles ruptures in the NBA at least.
You want to know
what's your theory?
One of my little theories is guys are too worried about looking cool. Like, back in the days, it was always known the higher top the sneakers, kind of the more protection on your ankle, your lower leg, your Achilles. Like the Rasheed Wallace had the Uptown Nikes, but all these guys now, like, and it used to be a thing where you would only kind of see point guards or smaller guys wearing these 3/4 sneakers where, like, the entirety of your ankle and your lower is kind of showing. So it's just some of these injuries. I wonder, would it be less if you wear a shoe that maybe is less appealing to you, it doesn't look that cool, but if it's gonna protect you and it's gonna maybe make it 80% less chance of this happening, I think guys should maybe start thinking about that, or Nike, start gearing your shoes and protect your athletes, because at the end of the day, everyone loses when something like this happens. Like, yeah, you can salvage it and do certain things, marketing.
But that game would have been much better if Halliburton was in it the entire time. Maybe not, because OKC's blown some teams out.
Yeah, but of course it would. It is just the fact that even having to think about that, like, dang, like, we probably could have saw a better game. Maybe we would have, maybe we wouldn't have. But no one wants to see one of the headliners of the NBA kind of like go down. Like,
when he hit the deck and they showed his face, I was like, God, it's got to be an Achilles. The way he was like, no. And he's dealing with a calf. And I dealt with a calf leading up to the Super Bowl when I was with the Patriots. And it felt like I had lots of concerns. Chief among them was my Achilles. Like, they told you to keep your Achilles loose the whole time. Like, you knew it was a little bit of a risk. You think about the explosiveness that these athletes play with. It's easy to say, and I texted like 5 of my trainers last night to ask them what they thought was the deal. And, they brought up, hey, I wonder if load management is an issue. Like, actually, like, guys, in load managing guys, you're actually you're taking away the stresses that prepare them for this march. It could be the shoes. People brought up, there's a trend away from dorsiflexion, and part of that is the shoes. And dorsiflexion is obviously like point your toes towards your shin, which we talk about a lot in football as pass rush and that sort of thing. And a lot of them mention step back. That step back motion, high velocity, is something that keeps popping up. I even heard one guy say, it could be sugar intake, impact glycation of collagen matrix. It decreases tensile strength. Okay, so if you're a trainer and you're listening to this, you might think all that shit. Here's one thing I think that's pretty simple, and it's kind of counterintuitive, because you think, hey, guys like Karl Malone played 82 games and they never load managed, and it felt like guys when we were growing up in the 90s watching never popped their Achilles. So how is that? Because these guys are playing some fraction of that workload and they're still getting hurt. I think there's just no way around it. The athletes are getting more explosive, they're getting faster, and I think the pace of the game is crazy. Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, you might have played 48 minutes back in the day, you might have played 82 games, and I'm not discounting the load on these guys. And I also think, like training camp in the NFL, before they started reducing it, could actually ramp up injury prevention in a weird way, in the same way. But I think if you look back at a game in the 90s, what did teams do for the most part? They dribbled down the court and they ate up the entire shot clock, and you spent most of your time playing half-court defense. Mm-hmm. Like, this game is all transition. It's leaping, it's jumping, it's running, it's sprinting, and these guys are all so fast. So I don't think the tendon has kept up with the bigger, stronger, faster nature of the players and also the pace of the game. And you can load manage all you want, but, like, these guys are so explosive, and now you're talking about, like, we're 20 games into the postseason.
Yeah.
So I do think it's probably shoes. I think it's a number of things, but it's also the fact that it's unavoidable. If you're going to play an 82-game season and you're going to play an entire playoff and you're going to play this fast, this explosive, like, guys are going to pop their Achilles, they're going to get hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, we all heard, like, it was. I believe it was the same leg that he had the calf injury in, and just like you were saying, it's when you're working or rehabbing one thing, you're probably compensating.
Yes.
You're probably compensating a lot in your everyday, just like walking around or whatever you're doing where you don't even know it. And that's something where I just feel like with that calf, and hey, it's the last game of the season, you're probably giving it everything you got, even though your calf and your leg is probably not 100%. And I just wonder if everything he's been doing this playoff to get that calf right, you're compensating and you're stressing that Achilles. And
don't guys often pop the other Achilles when they're trying to come back from the one? Kyle, do you remember that? Like guys in football that like they'll be rehabbing the one and then they'll pop the other one, that sort of thing. So it's kind of like, to your point.
And you wonder what came first, the chicken or the egg. Does the guy have a physical predisposition to having an Achilles injury, or is it because of the rehab process being given up love to the right one and the left one went, or whatever the hell happened? But, Chris, I think you hit the nail on the head. 82 games, 83 games, whatever the hell they're doing, of this style basketball with these level of athletes. It's like when you buy a gaming computer, you should be able to open the box and just play games. Some people like to overclock the computers to make the graphics even better and the game perform even better. That's this version of NBA athletes and the game that they play. Quick transitions, leaping, Olympic sprinter level athletes. Back in the day, Chris, as you painted a picture of, it was half-court sets, pass, 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 pass. That guy's open, bad defense.
Yeah, back to the basket, bigs.
Physical at the basket. I think they need to shorten the games, and I think we're going to see that with the NFL too, because we're overclocking the NFL athletes as well, bigger, stronger.
I don't think that the NFL is ever going to say, hey, less, but I think the NBA could at one point say, because it is such a players' league and because the product is so harmed by one star getting hurt, like they should look at either shortening the season, so you're not getting this weird load management thing where people are showing up to games, like kids buy a ticket to a game like 2 months out.
That can't happen.
And they're like, oh, LeBron's playing tonight. No, he's not. Like that's a real thing. And that's probably not enough to like make the NBA do anything. But when you start losing your stars, that's another thing. Okay, the curse of the zero. I have a theory.
All right.
Okay. So who are the three players that got hurt this postseason?
Jason Tatum, Dame Lillard, and then we had Tyrese Halliburton.
They all wear zero, right? So, I started looking at players that wore zero historically in the major four sports leagues. And, you got your Gilbert Arenases who seem to have some bad luck.
I bring all my guns to work.
Right, which has nothing to do with injury. Right, and that sort of thing. And I went all the way back, and I was like, well, who was the first guy to wear zero? Does anybody know who the first guy to wear zero was?
Greg Ostertag.
Nope.
That was double zero, right?
Nope. It was Jim Otto.
Malone.
Jim Otto of the Raiders way back in the day. Center Jim Otto.
Oh.
And so I was like, well, maybe Jim Otto
Single
got
zero, it. Double zero.
He wore it was a double or a single. I don't know what it was. I think it was double. Which is even worse, I guess.
So gangster, dude.
So here's the deal. I was like, well, maybe Jim Otto got hurt a bunch, and I was reading his Wikipedia, and he played in all 210 of his games. He never missed a game. So I was like, well, maybe he made a deal with the devil, and he played in all his games, and he took all the good health for all the zeros, and then all of them after that actually have suffered injuries like the ones we've seen in the NBA postseason. That's not the case. What happened is Jim Otto actually had 74 operations. He had 28 knee surgeries. He had 20 broken noses. He had over 200 face stitches in his career. I think Jim Otto started all this. I think it's the curse of Jim Otto. I think Jim Otto made a deal with the devil, and the devil was like, hey, you're going to get to play in all 210 of your games, and then you're going to suffer mightily the rest of your life. And he was like, deal. And then the devil was like, hey, one more thing. There's going to be these three NBA players, like 25 years after you die, they're all going to pop their Achilles. And Jim was like, done. And I think it's the curse of Jim Otto. I think anybody that wears zero needs to be careful, because Jim Otto has cursed the number by accruing over 74 operations.
Did Jim ever win a Super Bowl?
I don't know. No, but he lost 5 AFC championship games, which is also bad luck.
Dang.
Chris, when I go to like a place like a shooting range, I wonder what the back wall is made out of. And after that rap sheet from our guy Jim Otto, it's obvious to me that they just make it out of Jim Otto.
They make it out of Jim Otto, dude. Jim Otto's indestructible, dude.
They full auto Jim Otto all day.
Well, can you imagine what kind of surgeries were they doing back in the day?
I was just about to ask.
They were like Civil War field surgeries.
Man.
Well,
they were just cut here. They gave him a bottle of whiskey. Jim Otto used to drink whiskey and bite a towel.
Played games with leeches on his neck.
That's part of the question. Is like 74 operations. He said he had a couple dozen concussions too.
Yes.
What do you think was worse for his brain over time? Like 24
The
concussions. I mean, you can't get anesthesia that many times, right?
No. So probably
No way.
he was just raw dogging some of these surgeries. Either that or he had so much anesthesia, to your point, that it was actually bad for his brain. But you tack on the 24 concussions. And me and Nolan.
What year was he playing?
He was playing like the 60s and 70s.
That's when that's what 65. Like when they start closing up the face mask, because 20 broken noses is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
But if your face mask is just wide open, you're playing center. I can understand that.
No question.
And that disproves the ever-present theory that without face masks, there would be less concussions because people would be less willing to put their face in it.
Nah.
Quite honestly, I don't think the public is ready for a 4K eyeball hanging out of a.
No, that's like
that's happened in basketball.
No, that's happened in the football movie we just talked about the other day with Al Pacino, The Greatest Any Given Sunday. Remember the guy's eye falls out?
Oh god.
So anyways, I just caution.
Now here's a guy with one eyeball.
Yeah. Now here's a guy.
Jim also relayed a story where he once got hit so hard by Ray Nitsky that he broke. So helmet and face mask break. He broke his nose, his cheekbone, his zygomatic arch bone, which I think is this thing right here.
Jeez.
Detached the retina in his left eye. He was blind for 6 months after that in his left eye. Didn't leave the game. He didn't leave the game with that.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
No way. They said one time he had like amnesia for 3 days. He was like, his wife was like, "Hey, I'm your wife," and he was like, "Oh."
Who's this chick? Yeah, he said.
Or maybe he was just
so many
pretending. I might try that one.
This is not my beautiful house.
This is not my beautiful wife. How did I get here?
Oh, and I want to ask you guys this: do you think? I want to say
He doesn't know the talking heads.
I want to say it the right way, but just like when like Tank Dell went down, like that was more of like a gruesome injury, and like I guess the reaction or like seeing your teammate kind of like in agony and pain, like what that does for you in the moment as a team trying to win a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that game wasn't obviously as important as this game, but do you think if Halliburton goes down and maybe like doesn't have that reaction, even if he knows he's done, and he's just kind of like how like Kobe did. Like Kobe got up and shot a free throw, kind of like big dogged it out. Like I'm asking, like, do you think your teammates seeing that would maybe push them differently than seeing your teammate, your leader, kind of like in agony, kind of like really down, kind of knowing.
I
like
think that can
over.
shock you on the football field. I think like the reaction is one thing, but when you see a guy's leg sideways, like on the football field, like that can take the air out of the room a little bit, and guys
Especially when it's yours.
Yeah, it's when it's your leg. You might not make any more plays that day. But I do think like watching the game last night, you don't need to be a basketball expert to realize this. It just totally threw Indy off. Like from a basketball standpoint, they're so good at guarding. I mean, it was just like there were times where you couldn't get a shot up.
Yeah.
And so, that was the NBA. That was Achilles talk. And again, like even NFL players, if you're listening to this, be careful when you switch to zero, because there is the curse of Jim Otto. I think it's time for a green light mailbag. I asked these guys,
Mailbag,
our esteemed staff, to source a mailbag for us today, and Nolan's got that mailbag. So let's take it from there.
All right. So first question is. Obviously, big news out of the NBA, in addition to the finals, was Kevin Durant traded to the Rockets. What team do you associate Durant with, and why?
Now, this is the Mandela effect, because I think Seattle Supersonics. I don't even know if he played for the Supersonics. I remember him the most with James Harden and Russell Westbrook. And that was the team that you picked in NBA 2K. because you had the 3 archetypes of offensive weapons, and you could just dominate people. Serge Ibaka was on the team as well. He was the Angel Reese of the boards for their team. And that's who I remember him as. I couldn't even name the teams he's played for since. I think I stopped watching basketball when that big 3 couldn't win an NBA title.
Okay, hold on a second. The Mandela effect is a phenomenon where large groups of people share the same false memories. What is that? How does it apply?
The Bernstein Bears
I remember
Shazam.
him as like
Shazam,
the Tony
movie.
Bassell.
You remember the movie Shazam?
No.
A lot of people do remember there was a movie
Sinbad.
Shazam with Sinbad.
Okay, I remember Sinbad was in a movie.
And he's like a genie,
A wizard.
or a wizard.
Yes, okay, I remember this.
So everyone remembers it, and then Sinbad comes out and says, "I've never been in a movie like that." And people are, and then like you try to find it, and here and there there'll be clips, but like people and that's one of those things, and you'll be like, "No, I've."
So
seen
is there a movie or not?
And right now it's up in the air.
What? Come on, what the fuck are we talking about,
That's
dude?
what I'm saying. That's the Berenstein effect, bro.
The Berenstein effect?
Or
the Mandela effect.
Mandela. And then like something with the Berenstein Bears.
Bears one was how it's spelled, I believe.
Yeah.
People like saw the logo and they were like, that's not what it looked like when I was a kid. So it's like this mass, like a giant group of people remember something one way, but in current day, it's not that way. So they're like, all right, we're in a different timeline or something.
And this applies to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
So he did not play for the Seattle Supersonics.
No, he did not. Okay, that's what you mean by the Mandela effect. No, he did not play for the Sonics.
The first year he was there,
he did?
They still were the Sonics.
Yeah. Golly, dude.
See,
I guess they were having a Mandela thing.
No, but like
it's
also
not a
too,
Mandela effect.
the reason why I know that is just because of jerseys. You know, he had the fire.
Golly, this
Seattle.
is just like
he wore number 5, right?
35.
35.
Sonics?
Yes.
Yeah.
35.
Golly, did I forget that year?
Yeah, it was
But
just one year.
it's only 1 year. It's and then they got bought and then
That's
moved.
crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
I forget that whole year. Who else was on that Sonics team?
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's wild, dude. Look how this is baggy shorts era.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I would agree, like, although I don't think, I mean, he played 9 years, I think, in Oklahoma City, which seems like a lot longer than I remember, right? Because he's been on so many
He's been in
teams.
the league forever.
Right. He's been in the league forever.
I have a picture with Kevin Durant in Club Love, and at the time he was probably 18, and he has a big X on his hand. This is like he's in the club
Just to get in.
Like I guess
They marked him with a marker.
Like you can get in the club, 18 to party, 21 to drink, so you get a big X, and it's just funny to think about.
Use a new Sharpie after his hand.
Yeah, they ran out of ink.
Right. I was taking a picture with one of the best basketball players in the world.
Hell yeah, dude. But here's the thing. He won an MVP in Oklahoma City, but he won 2 finals MVPs with Golden State and became a champion. And like for somebody who I really do believe he puts being a champion above all else to a fault, like, right, where, you know, LeBron had the decision and he was a little bit more like apologetic about it. I mean, in the beginning at the decision, it was like, hey, fuck Cleveland, I'm going to Miami. But it feels like LeBron tried to explain it away a little bit better at different times, like where Kevin Durant was just like, I don't need to explain to anybody. Like, I just go where I want, wherever my best opportunity is.
You're from the DMV.
He's like he's a Rolling Stone, dude. But I associate him mostly with Golden State, and I think that's who he would want to be associated with. The shame of it is the way that thing broke up, right? Like, especially now with SGA being probably the most beloved Thunder player of all time. Like he's not going to want to be a Thunder. He's not going to want to be remembered as an OKC guy going into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I do think it's Golden State.
Yeah, and it's crazy for just thinking about like the same thing you're talking about. Yo, SGA was on the Hornets.
That's fucking nuts.
Like I think Jordan drafted him, and then they got rid of him.
And Jordan takes a lot of shit for the way they drafted.
Like,
are you sure Jordan drafted him? I don't know. I mean, I might have forgotten about this whole thing. Just like I can't hear Kyle.
Can't hear Kyle either. But no, I think.
I like that we're going with that. Sorry, the dog was barking. I muted myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but I think Jordan was like in the time. I think he was there, or he was there when they decided to get rid of him, and now he's a megastar.
Yeah, no, that's all great for SGA. But to that point, I just think I think of Durant on the Warriors, and there's no easy answer. There's no easy answer. This Rockets chapter is going to be interesting.
I can't wait for it.
They gave away like a Ricky Williams.
I'd be lying if I said I couldn't wait for it.
Asar Thompson it's wait, which one is it? One of the twins, the Thompson kid that's on the Rockets, I think it's Amen. The Thompson kid that's on the Rockets, I think him and KD together, it's gonna be like really good basketball.
We'll see.
And just a quick, so SGA was on the Clippers, not the Hornets.
Oh, see, look, that's a Mandela effect.
Mandela
thing.
effect, yeah.
Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Mandela effect when we totally misremember things because we have CTE.
Our three NFL players in the room, multiple franchises represented between you guys. Who are some coaches you wish you got to play for?
I have a list, Chris.
Kyle, hit us with it.
Not all of them are. I didn't think that we were just doing football. I thought we were
No, it doesn't have to be. It can be any.
You did like the Lady Volunteers coach.
I saw a YouTube clip from 1983 with Temple head football coach Bruce Arians, and it was a striking video because his coaching style, his tone, his messaging was like identical to what we see and hear from him recently, or in recent memory. There's only a handful of coaches whose styles last throughout, could do it for a very long time.
Yeah.
Random, but Bruce Arians is a guy that I think I would really want to play under. Seems like he treats his staff well, his players well. He wins. He's a quarterback guy, so you're going to get a lot out of the quarterback. Kurt Russell in the Miracle. They did some special stuff. Phil Jackson. And then in parentheses, I wrote, you will have good teammates. Because everywhere that Phil Jackson went, he had like the best players of all time.
That's true.
And then two serious answers, John Madden or Bill Cowher. I get to work with Bill Cowher. His teams were tough, and I feel like I would have fit into a locker room that he would have. And then John Madden, obviously, just because we love his game so much.
Madden would have been great.
Yeah. I got a few coaches that I definitely would have played for. Oh, before I say that too, SGA was drafted by Charlotte.
Oh!
And then traded that night.
You got Mandela.
I got Mandela.
To the Clippers.
Yeah, so you were right.
Same night. And I think that was Jordan that did that.
Jordan.
And he traded him.
Yes,
Come
the same
on,
day.
Mike.
Didn't even get to see him in the office yet.
Crying Jordan me.
Unbelievable.
Exactly. No, but the two coaches I think I would have definitely wanted to play for. One is Tomlin. I'm a huge Mike Tomlin fan. I think just the way he runs, or just from the outside looking in, just the way he runs his team, the way he speaks to his guys, I feel like he speaks to all his players on kind of a man-to-man level. Not saying all coaches don't do that, but all coaches don't do that.
Yeah, no.
So it's just refreshing to see someone kind of like anytime they're on camera or you kind of hear people talk, he's the same. He seems like he's the same person. And then another guy, just because Al Groh came from his tree, I think I definitely would have wanted to play for Bill and just see what type of things defensively I would have maybe learned or I would know just being in meetings and being around someone like Bill Belichick for a training camp and a season, just to see.
Number one for me, I think the power of not wanting to disappoint your coach because you respect and love the coach is paramount in the NFL and in football. You can be afraid of a coach. That definitely factors. But it's best if you respect the guy, because we all know when your parent says, "I'm not mad, I'm disappointed," that crushes you.
It hurts a little bit more.
If Dan Campbell was disappointed in me, I would make it right. Dan Campbell would be number 1 for me, for all the reasons that everybody knows. I think number 2 for me would be Sean McVay. Interestingly enough, Sean McVay coached a team that I was cut from when it moved from St. Louis to LA. I'm glad things worked out the way they worked out, but had I been on the team for some reason, I think I would have really liked Sean McVay. I also heard that Sean McVay takes good care of his players physically and gives them lots of days off, something I never got at the end of my career. It's no problem, Doug Peterson. You're my guy, but I never got a day off. And then third, probably for me, amongst active coaches, another guy we had on the show recently, and Dan Quinn. I love Dan Quinn. Almost got a chance to play for him when I chose the Patriots over the Falcons. And then a wild card for you, like an all-time coach. I would have liked to play for Joe Paterno. I would have blown the whistle. You know, I'd like to think I would have blown the whistle.
I was waiting for the pants.
I didn't
to drop.
say I wanted. No, I just said I would have made that. I would have made that situation right.
A programming question. Last week or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, U.S. Open had the rain delay, and they showed highlights of Tiger Woods in the 2008 U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Say the Super Bowl has some kind of weather delay, and you're in charge of keeping fans' eyes on the screen. What iconic games are you showing them to keep those ratings up?
Easy. Tavon Austin's highlight.
Yeah.
Oh, great call.
Yeah.
Easy. Throwing on Tavon Austin's highlight tape and just say, hey, babe, watch this, babe.
I don't think in football there's a guy that has more like high school notoriety than Tavon Austin.
He has to be like one of the.
You know how in basketball everybody knows, like, hey, you should have seen this guy playing in high school. There's footage of this guy at Oak Hill or whatever. Like, but everybody knows Tavon Austin's highlight tape. And Tavon Austin to this day, and he didn't have like an amazing pro career, but he was a teammate of mine and one of the best teammates I ever had, and was a good player, good returner, the whole thing. But he'll meet like legends in the game, and they're starstruck. They'll be like, yo, that's Tavon Austin. I used to watch your highlight tape in high school. So that's a great call.
I got a Tavon story, Chris.
You do?
Yeah.
What is it?
So pre-draft, you take all these visits to all these, teams. And I forget where I was, but you land at the airport. There's a guy waiting for you on the curb, and he's like, we're waiting for 1 more, 2 more, 3 more guys. There's a lot of guys on their visits. All right, we're going to the car. All the guys round up, a couple big O-linemen or whatever. So I go to the back seat, and the front seat is tilted all the way back, and it's scooted all the way back. And I'm like, who the fuck's up there? Like Ralph Sampson? And I look around, and it's this little guy, and I'm like, dude, me and the other O-lineman are looking at each other like, fuck this guy. And then we end up meeting him, and it's Tavon Austin. And I would have been pissed if it was just some jackass, but like the fact that Tavon Austin big boyed us like that, like big dog does.
Mm-hmm. Also, one of the coolest guys, though. One of the best.
Respect for him.
One of the best high energy guys. One of the best like bring the vibe in a locker room up guys ever. Tavon Austin. Along the same lines of like not an actual game, I would show them the greatest hits of Bad Beats. Bad Beats, Scott Van Pelt, Stanford Steve, shout out to 2 friends of the program. I think that's peak sports entertainment. If you're going to show them a highlight reel of something, I would show them the best Bad Beats of all time. If it was a game, and this is a little bit personal to me, but it would be the Virginia-Purdue, I think it was the Elite Eight game, the year that Virginia won the Natty. I think it was 2019. Also, it was the greatest sports year of all time for me because the Blues won the Stanley Cup as well. But Carson Edwards hit like 10 threes. It's regarded as one of the best tournament games of all time. And that's not just Virginia fans saying that. It ends, of course, with an intentional miss free throw and a tip with like 3 seconds to go to half court. And we get a long pass into Diakite, and Diakite hits the shot that sends it into overtime, and Virginia wins in overtime. The second half of that game, from about like 12 minutes to go on, was the best sequence of basketball I've ever seen. I watched it in Vegas in my hotel room. I had to leave the sports book. I was too nervous. That was the best basketball game I've ever seen.
Nice. You know what
I would just go Rams Chiefs. Jared Goff versus Patrick Mahomes.
54-51.
Come on, put it up there.
Come on.
Wasn't that Were they in like a ketchup and mustard kind of situation that night?
It was color rush, full red, full yellow at the Coliseum, I believe. It was like how football is supposed to be played. There was two young quarterbacks going at it.
It's so good.
Mahomes was like, hello. It was his hello world. Speaking of Tiger Woods, that was like his hello world moment.
Then I just start showing them random regular season games that were electric, and they'd be like, "What the fuck? Why am I watching DJ Moore score the game?"
Or any compilation of a player from the mid 2000s with "Linger" by Cranberries on it will have me watching it like 4 times.
Do you like the song "Linger"?
There is a trend, and I don't know if the trend's coming past. You'll have to ask some of these younger gentlemen, but they just put videos up of like a Mike Allstott running the ball,
like nostalgic shit.
Yeah, dude, just put that up there.
Or you put the old school, the CD disc screensaver that hits the corners.
That's not a
DVD.
Idea, dude.
The DVD,
Yeah.
and you just wait for it to hit perfectly in the corner, and the crowd just goes wild every time. but the fact, if you did that, how many people would know it's up, and how many people would cheer? It'll probably be good.
Be like a wave in there.
Yeah.
Nolan is gone.
Yeah, fire alarm went off.
Oh, fire alarm went off.
But
Tanner, you want to take over
I'm
for him?
taking over. So next mailbag question.
I hope Nolan doesn't die in a fire.
Oh yeah. Hopefully he's okay.
We're praying for him.
You're gonna be watching a lot of tape with me, Tanner.
Oh God. But
Tanner, what happened to that 3 technique there?
well, you see. All right, so next mailbag question is how to approach a celebrity. A fan sees you in public and wants a picture, autograph. What's the proper etiquette? Coach them up. How should they go about it?
Had this happen the other night.
Cashier's check usually works.
Yeah. That's always.
I'm just joking.
That's always.
Can of dip,
No.
Yeah.
For one.
maybe a beer.
Hey, for
Yeah.
locals, if you see Dr. Fax out and we're at the bar and you want to chop it up, offer me a drink. Offer to buy me a drink.
I was gonna say, don't buy me a drink.
No, offer to buy me a drink. At least ask.
Just want good
Be like,
conversation.
hey, you want a drink, Dr. Fax? If you're especially gonna be the guy to do the, yo, you should get me on the pod. You should get me on the pod.
Do people do that to you?
Bro, someone this weekend,
Ugh.
this kid came up to me and he was like, yo, green light, what's good? This black kid. And he's like, yo, y'all should get me on the pod. Chris knows me. He got me on social media. I hit him up on the DMs before. You should get me on the pod. Didn't say his name. Didn't say anything. And he just kept saying that. Get me on the pod.
We need to do what Drewski does and have like an audition.
Yeah, we need to
For
do
people that
another.
want.
Yeah.
Locals.
Yeah.
We got to do another one and just
No.
have people audition.
Yeah.
And just give your best take.
Here's a big one for me. Don't buy me a shot. Seriously. Like now I have to take a shot.
Yeah.
And like if I meet 3 people at the bar, I'm going to be toast in addition to all the drinks I'm drinking. They're on my personal time. So don't buy me a shot.
That's funny.
Just come up and say what's up. I also think this is a big one. This is a big pet peeve of mine, and it's popped up twice in the last month. Don't do this. Don't ever do this. Don't ever fucking do this. All right? Like I've given people grace the last month, but the next person that does this to me, I'm not gonna like you. It's not gonna go well. And I'm not saying that you should be afraid that it's not gonna go well. I'm not gonna do anything to you, but I will dislike you, and the interaction will not go well. This guy at the gas station the other day, he's in his car, and I walk out of the BP, and he reached out of the car and he does this, and you know what I did? I walked over.
Yeah, I would have did one of these.
fuck up.
I would have turned around.
I walked over. He's like, my wife wants to meet you. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is this? This is a cuck situation. I'm not into that, buddy. Like, what is this? My wife wants to meet you, and then I had
sit in the back seat while you meet my wife.
yeah, like he gets out of the car. He's in the back seat. Come here. My wife's a big Eagles and Rams fan. I hate that. That's one of my least favorite things, man. Just show people respect. I'll never say no. I'll never say no to a picture and autograph, especially because I'm washed and moderately famous. Like, I should be appreciative every time somebody knows who I am. So I'm never going to be an asshole. But if you do this, that's a bad deal. And also, if you walk up to me and my wife, definitely introduce yourself and like shake her hand and show her respect before you hand her the phone and ask her to take a picture of us. That's a big one.
And also, too, if you're a fan, just say hello. Like, don't do the weird, look.
Yeah, don't hover. Don't do because
Like,
we can see it.
Exactly. Don't do that. Like,
And if you don't know who I am, don't come up and say, "Who are you?" and then ask for my autograph. Because if you're not sure who I am and you're willing to ask me for an autograph, like that means you're just a simp, right?
Yeah.
Like if I was going to ask somebody for an autograph, it's got to be somebody I love. Like, don't do the "Who are you? I know you do something," and also don't do the "Hey, you're Howie's kid." I'm 40 years old. I have a name.
You're still Howie's kid.
You know what I'm saying, though? But Howie's son, try that. You do kid. I'll have people who are like 5 years younger than me be like, "Oh, you're Howie's kid." I'm like, "You motherfucker. I was born in 1985.
Man, sheesh.
I'm too old to be drafted."
By the way,
I'm 40.
I don't. What is the cutoff for that?
For the draft?
Yeah.
Are you starting to get worried?
Well, I'm 25.
You're right in there.
I'm about to turn 26 in October.
But
so
you're right in there.
Au revoir.
got bone spurs. Sorry about it.
Yeah, well, that worked for somebody.
Yeah, it's gonna work again for me.
Kyle, what do you're a big Henri guy. What do you?
I'm going.
No, that's what we told Dad. But what do fans have to do to get a good Kyle? To get the good Kyle?
Just be yourself. You can always tell when somebody's like, first and foremost, like you said, Chris, it's always an honor when people are like, "I recognize you." You know, it's kind of a cool thing to be recognized. And
yeah,
I get recognized obviously less living in South Florida than I would in Charlottesville or in Chicago, but it's always cool. I would say keep it quick if I'm with my family and my, stuff like that. If I'm at Starbucks and I've got a stroller and a dog and, I love talking to people. I love saying hello, and I love that you want to talk to me. But like, we got shit to do, homie.
Yeah. As you can see, I'm like a pack rat. I have all the family's things on me. Like, and also my kids are running around. And that's another thing. Don't ask for a picture if I'm with my kids. Like, if I'm holding my daughter or something, I can't put her down. Like I'm not going to give her to somebody else. So anyways, not that we're special and we should be able to make all these rules, but like I'm just giving you the tools to the trade. If you want to get an autograph or say hi to somebody, like this is how, don't do this. Yeah. Definitely don't do that.
Second part to the question, would you prefer to sign an autograph or take a picture?
Am I high?
Sure.
Do they have a pen?
I'd rather do an autograph if I'm stoned.
Yeah. I'd hope if they asked for an autograph, they had a pen, But I guess that's not always.
Yeah, when they ask for an autograph, they're like, "Do you have a marker?"
Yeah.
I'm at the arcade, like with my kids. I don't have a Sharpie right now. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of, you see the video of KD he was at like the Fanatics Fest, and it's like one guy, like when he sat down, one guy like had made the motion like, "I have this jersey, can I throw it to you?" And KD was like, "Yeah." So a guy throws a jersey and then throws a pin. And then while the pen is coming to him, like 7 other people throw shit.
Yeah, dude.
And KD, like he literally lets everything drop, and he's just like, yo.
A lot of times the first person, did you see the person on the plane that was talking to Jamar Chase? Did you see this? So I guess he asked Jamar Chase for an autograph, like on the plane, and Jamar was like, "Nah, I can't sign right now." Like they were taking off or something. And when the plane landed, the guy stood up and was like, "This is Jamar Chase. He don't sign autographs." Like a total asshole. Like, don't do that. Come on, man. So I mean, there's just fans can act out of hand sometimes, but we are very appreciative of having fans at all.
Oh, speaking of this, kind of on topic, this kind of could be a mailbag. Do you feel like Kelsey Plum was in the wrong?
We talked about this the other day.
Oh, you did already?
Yeah, Kelsey Plum was talking about the people outside of hotels that are obviously selling autographs. So.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with people outside of hotels that were selling, and I was like,
no, just autographs.
Why are you assuming that they're selling autographs? They're not
because
collecting.
They are.
Some guys are collecting.
A lot of them are, though.
A lot of people collect, and collecting. You sell cards too to keep the hobby going.
You're a card guy, so you're gonna have a different opinion than us on this thing. But like when a guy sends his son up to sign with a special blue pen, and he's like, "Can you hit these and can you put them in the right place and can you write
I still get cards in the mail to my personal address with people that send a card.
Guess what?
With a marker and a note being like, and a returning.
I don't
mail
send that
thing.
back.
No, me either. But
This is my personal address, bro. I can't reinforce that.
No, exactly. I understand that it can get crazy, but standing outside the team hotel, that's somewhere
I signed for him. I signed for him.
Yeah.
I signed for him, but I know what they're doing, bro. I know what they're doing. And if somebody was like, hey, you're about to make $200 on this autograph, like, it's not my job to pay your bills. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But my whole thing
I thought you're
with
supposed
her-
to be paying my bills. Isn't that what fans say? We pay your bills. We're paying the tab for you buying tickets. Like, it's just not supposed to go the other way, right?
I guess my whole thing with the whole situation that made me upset was the simple line that she says, the simple line that she says, I'm kind of turned off right now. And it's just like,
Well, the way she said it was weird.
that's what I'm saying. Like, why did you say that? Like, because I like the WNBA. Kelsey Plum is a
Sure you do.
She's a great player, and you have to expect this. Like, yo, you have a max contract, so at the end of the day, you're gonna be one of the top people that people want autographs from, and it's just like, for
Nate,
you
we
to
know
not
you're a
understand
collector.
that.
We know you're a collector, bro.
But still, bro. But still, that poor guy. It's messed up for him.
Poor guy.
Yeah,
Come
trying to
on.
make
I
it-
don't feel bad for either of them.
No, but like,
I don't feel bad for us, the athletes, and I don't feel bad for a collector that's gonna sell my shit on eBay who's camped outside the hotel.
Dang, you're just like the people in the comments. It's like, damn it if you do, damn it if you do.
I don't feel bad for anybody. It's free will, man. You can say no to an autograph if somebody's selling it, and you
No,
can say no to an
exactly.
autograph if somebody's not. But I don't say no to autographs because I'm washed and I'm appreciative.
Are you allowed to say, "Hey, I'm a little turned on right now"?
Exactly.
I actually have a fetish for guys
Exactly.
for guys with gym bags full of footballs outside the.
Show me your fucking card. Right now.
Show me my rookie card.
Oh, it's chrome. Oh.
Oh my god. Oh, bobblehead.
Oh, bobbleheads are cool.
Foil.
All right.
All right, I got one more.
Well, go ahead.
okay.
What is it?
I was gonna say, should you feel bad if you get to a restaurant
It's totally unrelated.
before closing, if when you walk in, you see the staff visibly upset that they're getting another customer before?
No, I try to be very nice when I walk in at the end of their shift. I try to be very polite and be expeditious. Is that the
How
word?
close? How close is it to closing though?
The door's open. It shouldn't matter, right? Like, it shouldn't matter.
I'm not gonna
honestly,
come in and put an order in.
I walked in a spot at 8:58 down at the beach when everything's closing at 9, and the door was still open. We had just gotten in.
8:58.
The baby's crying, bro. 3-hour drive down to Virginia
The
Beach,
fuck out of here.
bro. 3-hour drive down to Virginia Beach. The baby's crying.
Shut that baby up!
Right? Yo, bro, we get to the hotel, and obviously, they try to put us on the ground floor on the beach hotel where people could just walk up to the door. So we had a
God damn it! I'm a
thing.
podcaster.
We had a whole thing with that. So get in the room changed and get upstairs, and then we get outside and we find out everything's about to close at 9. So the first available restaurant closest to our
I'm sure the
hotel-
guy at Red Robin who's been working 12 hours is really feel sorry for you. They put you on the ground floor and you had a problem with your room. Like, it's too late. 8:58 is too late.
But bro, the door's still open. It's unlocked. If it's too late, lock the door. Like,
That's poor planning on your part. Getting to the hotel with a.
So you've asked two
less-
questions and you don't like the fucking
7
answers.
o'clock.
I don't.
He wants to blame Red Robin.
Yeah.
No, I didn't go to Red Robin. It was
Sure
a
you
different-
didn't.
It was a different restaurant. And after it all, we weren't even the last family to leave. There was still a family there, still cracking crab legs and carrying on.
Yeah,
They
but
had a
they've
way
already
bigger
ordered.
family than me.
They've already ordered. That's the inventory that's in the door, out the door. Next question.
All right. Kyle proposed this one pre-show. Are we in the best quarterback era in the history of the NFL?
It's hard to argue with the production, but the production is tainted by a proclivity to throw the piss out of the pigskin. Does that make sense?
Nope.
Everybody just wants to throw the football nowadays.
There's just
So
a
the
ton of
quarterbacks are
there's a
not
ton of
particularly
passing. It's a passing league now, and numbers are going to be inflated. Completion percentage is going to be inflated. Receivers are unimpeded. There's the quarterback protection. So like, while I would say, hey, yeah, like you could probably back it up with numbers, and the top 5 right now. I don't want to do the top 5 right now. Okay.
In no order: Josh, Lamar, Patrick, Joe.
I'm not doing the top 5 right now.
Jaden.
I think Jaden's going to be there. But you got your Jalen Hurtses who have been winners, and like but the whole point is, I think if you stack up the elite quarterbacks in this era against the elite quarterbacks like 20 years ago, there's probably more depth, right? Like you had the era of Brady and Manning and that sort of thing. You had Joe Montana and some others. You had Elway, but like we got five of those kind of guys. It seems like at any given point. Now, do they have the longevity to turn their careers into Elway or Montana or Brady or? But in any given year, it looks like if you just looked at it in a vacuum, we're living in the best time for QB play.
And also, too, I think we have like a really, really high ceiling on some of the younger guys, just even whether it's rookies or second year, and maybe some guys we're not even thinking about that might be going into their third year, because the kid from the Vikings hasn't even played yet. McCarthy. Yep. Drake May, like he's shown that like he can ball, and he kind of has a better cast around him, maybe a better cast around him now that we can kind of see that more. And guys like I'm excited to see like if Shador gets a chance to play in the NFL like system, Cam Ward, like some of these guys, like they can probably like really change
Dylan Gabriel
and do their thing. So it's going to be exciting to see.
No, it is going to be exciting.
Brock Osweiler.
So I don't know, Kyle. There's also the like, do some quarterbacks do less now? Are they responsible for less? Are things more friendly for quarterbacks than ever? Right? Besides all the things I just listed, like the college game's changed, so sometimes the pro game's tailored to meet the needs of a quarterback coming out of college. You see quarterbacks that only work half the field, that are 1 or 2 read guys, like. So the game has changed, and it's more suitable for this sort of thing. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I think the depth is there.
The cool thing to me about the top 5 guys that we named, and I'll start with the guy who's on the fringe with Jaden Daniels, and then it goes, in no order: Lamar, Josh, Patrick, Joe. All those guys are different archetypes and have the ability to do X-Men abilities of different types. And the thing that stands out to me the most is Patrick is the guy that can shapeshift into any of these archetypes. You take something away, he can put it back at you with a different flavor.
I'm sorry, he can't shapeshift into Josh Allen.
I'm just telling you, the ability to escape, the ability to run the football.
No question. I agree with you.
And from a schematic standpoint, Andy Reid can change the way that he's calling the game depending on what they're taking away, and his guy can adjust. We are so spoiled with guys like that in the NFL today. And I think that we talked about these 5 guys. There's 23 other guys that wouldn't trade 23 other teams that wouldn't trade their quarterbacks unless it was for one of those top 5 guys.
Right. Right.
A lot of teams are pretty happy with their quarterback situation.
Well, because they're also it's early in the experiment for a lot of teams right now. In that time. But when I say he can't shape-shift into Josh Allen, I'm not saying he's not better. What I'm saying is Josh and Lamar have like very differentiating physical skills. Like very unique differentiating physical skills where Patrick is kind of like he's an artist, and sure, he can tuck the ball and run on 3rd and 7 and break your back. We've seen it a million times. But you think about like going into a game and saying, hey, I'm going to run the ball 15 times with my quarterback and burn the ships. We're going to run option. We're going to run read option. We're going to run speed option. He's going to pull it down and quarterback trap, like that sort of thing. Like that's also a very new thing in the NFL. You could go way back in the day and probably find like quarterbacks in running offenses in an antiquated form of football, but like now that's a very differentiating thing. So we got, all flavors, which is also fun to watch. The 2000s, often cited as the golden age of quarterbacks, features a constellation, nice AI, of stars like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Aaron Rodgers, who dominated the league and redefined the position with their exceptional talent and sustained success. So that's what you got to really compete against. You know, that 4 deep of GOATs, Hall of Famers, and we'll see if these guys can. And I think the key is going to be, can they all get rings, right? Because all those guys got rings.
And which of the second tier guys is going to take one of those? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, that's
which of the guys that we don't deem as elite.
A lot of people wouldn't have put Jalen Hurts in the elite category, but he has 1 ring, and he's got 2 Super Bowl appearances, and he's beaten Mahomes in the Super Bowl. There'd be people that's detractors that say, well, his team was incredible, but in the past we've also given quarterbacks a lot of leeway because of rings, and so rings matter.
More of a fun one here. Worst places, times, events, what have you, to have to take a dump. So I proposed this one recently. I was at a wedding. Yeah, recently I was at a wedding, and during cocktail hour, duty called. Pretty adverse circumstances. I'm wondering if you guys have anything worse than that.
Yeah.
Well, similar to your cocktail hour, when you get dressed in the NFL, it takes about 30 minutes to get dressed.
Yeah.
When you go out to warm up, and the worst feeling is like, oh my God, I have to take a shit.
Yeah.
Because first off, you need a hall pass to get out of like drill.
Whatever drill.
Yeah.
And then you got to go in. You're the only guy in a locker room.
Yeah.
Like well lit, and it's completely empty and silent. And you've got to speed undress, poop. You have gloves on, tape. You got to take all that stuff off. Nothing worse than having to shit right before an NFL game.
You got to take your gloves off. That's an important thing.
I got one.
Well, you have to wipe your butt. You have no sense.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
when you're wiping your butt, you can't wipe with.
You could be out there trying to punch a 3 technique, and he's getting dookie on him.
Yeah. How about in Vegas at a freaking bachelor party, at freaking a pool club when you're in a cabana with a bathing suit on, and
that's not that bad. You can get back in the pool.
Bro, you ever take shrooms and then immediately have to like take a shit
sometimes
from it? And it was one of those. And I had to go into the bathroom at this pool club and like just shit my brains out.
Blow it up, and then there's like a line of TikTok gals outside the door waiting to come in.
And then come out like everything's cool. And just like you said, like get back in the pool, hang out, and everyone's like, where'd you just go? Like, oh, I took a smoke break.
Do you know Bo Allen's shit story that he is unwilling to tell on this podcast? Have you heard this one?
Nope.
It involves blowing up a celebrity's private nightclub bathroom and clogging the toilet.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and then the guy banging on the door and being upset with him. It's a very famous celebrity.
That's so good.
But he's afraid to say it. He's afraid to say it.
Don't say it. I can't wait to find out who this is, though.
Yeah, I can't tell you right now. It's not my thing to tell. It's not my tale to tell. I think an airplane's pretty bad. Because of you're the biggest guy in the plane, and when you get up, you got to like kind of waddle down the little hallway there and try not to bump into people, and they're all looking at you. And they know, like, when you go in the bathroom on an airplane, everybody's staring at the bathroom. Literally, there's no other public place where everybody is fixated on the bathroom.
Sometimes people standing right out the door waiting.
Right, so you know exactly what's going on. And then you got to flush that loud-ass thing like 10 times to make sure, like, it's like, what's that guy doing in there, I wonder? And then you come out, and if it's bad enough, people can catch a whiff in the front of the airplane or the back of the airplane.
I anatomically am unable to take a shit on an airplane.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So this has never been a fear of mine because my body just knows. I'm innately like just tight beehole. I walk into an airport and it's like
yeah. The Hudson News food goes right through you.
That's a courtesy flush situation for sure, right?
For sure.
Oh man.
For sure. The worst place. The worst place. Yeah, I think it might be an area. It might be an area.
Lambeau Field
No.
locker room.
Bonnaroo in a
away
hot ass
room.
porta potty. That's not good. Yeah. Anyways, that was a very personal question, Nolan.
It's a recent topic for me.
You sick bastard.
All right.
I have a funny story.
Yeah.
So we were just on a flight. Where did me and my girl just go?
Vegas.
We're on a flight to Vegas, right? Long flight. I wake up like off of an edible.
The secret trip.
Like, look, off of an edible, right? And bro, I'm in my seat, and while everyone's like, bing, everyone's getting their stuff, I fart in my seat. Silent, no one hears it. I'm like, whatever. Bro, it smells fucking awful.
You
right?
can smell your own brand.
Bro.
Are you coming out of Vegas?
No, this is getting
One of those rotten ones.
Rotten, bro. So at this time, I'm in the window seat, my girl's in the middle seat, and there's like this Indian fella like on the edge seat of our three, and he stands up at the time and he does something where he bumps somebody and he says, "Excuse me." As soon as he says, "Excuse me," the smell starts traveling to everyone. So everyone thinks it's him. Everyone thinks it's him. And bro, when I tell you, bro, someone like 2 rows back goes, "Yo, did someone shit?" And bro, I remember just sitting in my seat laughing so hard and just being like playing along with everyone around, being like, "Oh, like that smell." Like,
Dude, you're a bad guy.
Final mailbag here. Which musician or band that's no longer with us would you want to bring back to life? This is a recent tweet from Kyle.
I know what Kyle's answer was. You know, it's I just had to look up dead musicians. There's so many.
Ludwig van Beethoven.
No. The first two off the top of my head are some of my favorite guitarists of all time. Dwayne Allman and Stevie Ray Vaughan. I think Stevie Ray Vaughan would do some incredible stuff in today's. You agree?
Yeah, Stevie Ray.
What musician are you bringing back to life? That was the question.
Biggie, because he knows if Diddy was being weird or not. Biggie knows the truth. If anyone knows the truth, Biggie knows the truth.
Send him straight to court.
All right, Biggie knows everything. But nah,
But are they invincible if you bring them back, or are they just gonna die again? Because Biggie.
You know what's
Biggie's
crazy
gonna have to
about saying this?
Start taking care of himself.
You know, a lot of people will probably say like Tupac, and now all I could think about is this is like unrelated, but going back to the game where Halliburton got hurt. Did you see how the team just huddled around him? I guess it was like
Somebody had a Tupac
bro, that I was like
sweatshirt.
I was like, whoever's designer for this Tupac piece is like, is this not the perfect situation for you? Because I was like, I couldn't focus on anything else,
right?
But that big Tupac face.
Yeah, that guy had a good night.
I'm like, why is Tupac in the huddle?
Or a bad night. People were like, this is the ugliest fucking sweatshirt I've ever seen.
But people are talking about it.
People are talking about it as we speak. And I'm glad you guys. I would actually. I noticed you guys didn't say Kobe Bryant. That was actually the first person I was going to say. He actually.
I thought it was a musician.
Yeah, but he had an album.
He was
music. Trash rapper.
You can't speak like that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I'll tell him you said that when I bring him back.
He's one of the best basketball players of all time. And you know why I could say he's trash? Because he's not even the best, like, basketball rapper. Shaq has a platinum album. Shaq has,
but is he the best basketball? Dame was pretty good.
No.
Iman Shumpert was pretty good.
Just like you said before, how do we rank it? Off of rings, how good guys are. Shaq has a platinum. Like, guys don't get. There's rappers.
Master
like,
P.
There's big.
Master P was a pretty good basketball player. It kind of goes the other way.
He played like what? He played like 2 games in the NBA, I think.
Cameron was a good basketball player.
He was.
Dave East was a good basketball player.
He was.
2 Chainz was a good basketball player.
2 Chainz, Titty Boy.
Evidently, Bow Wow was a really good basketball player.
I don't put it past.
Okay.
Like Mike. You seen him in Like Mike?
No.
You never seen Like Mike?
No.
When he
Was Sinbad in it?
When he puts on the shoes?
No.
You never seen Bow Wow with the shoes?
I've never been sitting there trying to decide what movie I wanted to watch and being like, yeah, I'll watch the one with Bow Wow in it.
Like Mike, bro.
How much time do you have on your hands watching Bow Wow movies?
You would like Mike.
Okay,
bro.
I'll check it out.
Are you really? You've never seen Like Mike? You're full of it.
I don't think I've seen Like Mike.
He's the orphan. He finds the magical Converse.
No. That plot line
Or
sucks.
Nikes. They're not even Converse. They're Nikes. Whatever.
The plot line sucks.
So Chris and Nate, you guys have social media.
Yeah.
You have seen this video before.
Okay.
There is a gentleman, I believe he is singing probably Mexican music.
Okay.
And he's wearing a cowboy hat, and he gets somebody that comes up and tells him something while he's performing.
Oh.
And apparently the message was that he was going to be killed after his show.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm bringing him back. Or I'm bringing, because I'm assuming he's dead.
I haven't seen
You haven't?
the video.
Or,
bro,
Did he die?
No, yeah. It was like his last song. Like he starts singing, like kind of like
He
starts
wipes his head,
Yeah,
and
he
he's just
starts
like
sweating, and he just gets in. Blah, 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 da, da, da. Like he sings all the way through. It's like bachata music or like something like that. But he ends up dying.
Either him or the blue woman from The Fifth Element, who was an opera singer.
Did she?
She was a beautiful singer.
And she died?
Yeah, remember they pulled the stone out of her stomach?
That's probably what they did to the guy down in Mexico too.
Yeah.
What did the guy die? The guy died. Was it the cartel?
Yeah, it was a cartel.
Golly.
There it is.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Thank God.
So I have seen this.
Look, they handed him a note, and look at him reading it.
Concert when he was handed a note from a gang leader through someone.
He's like,
the note contained a death threat, warning Sanchez that if you sing, you die. Despite the ominous
if you keep singing, you die.
Yep.
to continue with his performance.
Oh, he just keeps singing.
Chose his fate.
For
Later,
the love of the game.
Look, they found
I don't
his
think
body.
it was if you keep singing, you die. I think it was like, you're dead.
What if it was like a speed situation? And they were like, if you stop singing, you die.
If you sing under 90 words per minute, you die. And he's like, I don't want to sing.
La cucaracha, ya no puede caminar. And they just continue. Everybody leaves you singing.
It's nuts.
That's a fucking downer. R.I.P. to that guy. Kyle, thanks for joining us on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Boys, it's good to see you. Everybody, hear your voices.
Good to see you. And you got a nice tan down there. We'll come see you soon, Kyle.
Yeah, come holler at me, boys. Peace. Love.
We love you.
Yes, sir.